Very good morning, 6th class. Today we will cover DIGI class for your history book for chapter 3 from gathering to growing food. ठीक है, ये आज हम अपनी DIGI क्लास करेंगे चैप्टर 3 के लिए.
Do you know that hunter-gatherers could never live in one place? Why do you think hunter-gatherers were always on the move? This is because when they settled in a place, they would consume all the plants and animals in that area. When their resources were over, they moved to the next place, and then the next. Then, one day, the hunter-gatherer noticed that when a seed fell on the ground, over time, it grew into a plant. However, he saw that this plant was not safe from birds and animals. So, the hunter-gatherer decided to first choose the seed he wanted to sow. And then protected it while the seeds germinated into a plant. And took care of it. To grow the type of fruit he wanted. The first plants to be domesticated were generally those with large seeds that were grown in bulk. These included the production of grains, especially wheat, produced in large quantities. This led to the basic factor allowing man to settle down in one place. Can you guess what this factor is? By domesticating plants in this way, people began farming for the first time. The hunter-gatherers domesticated wild dogs first. Of all animals, dogs became man's best friend over 12,000 years ago. As hunter-gatherers hunter-gatherers settled down and began farming, they thought that they could also domesticate animals. They noticed that some animals were more vulnerable than others. In order to protect these animals, they had to be domesticated too. Goats, cows were domesticated and used in dairy farming. They provided milk rich in protein. Some animals, such as bulls, oxen, were used to work in plowing fields. Sheep were a source for wool that would be used to make warm clothing. On the farm, these animals grazed and man protected them from wild animals. Thus, the process of herding came into being. With farming and herding, hunter-gatherers no longer needed to move from one area to another in search of food. Domestication brought about a fundamental shift in the way man lives, from always moving to living a settled life. Even today, the food we consume in our day-to-day lives is a result of domestication. Look at the contrasting lifestyles on either sides of this road. These are the Banjaras, who are nomadic. And these are the city dwellers. The Banjaras are here for just a few months. And then they are gone. The Banjaras are nomads, moving from place to place and never settling down in any one place. But city people stay in one place for years, sometimes even generations. But do you know that there was a time when all humans were nomadic? That was during the Paleolithic age. Then a handful of discoveries and innovations helped the Paleolithic humans to move towards the settled life of the Neolithic age. Can you guess what those discoveries and innovations were? Paleolithic humans led very simple lives. They hunted or gathered their food and used crude, unpolished stone tools for this. Once the food resources in a place were exhausted, or the climate became unsuitable to live, these humans moved to the next fertile place. Then came an important discovery that gradually led them towards the settled lifestyle of the Neolithic age. Can you guess what was this discovery? Humans discovered that seeds buried under the ground can grow into new plants. They got the idea to cultivate. Soon, they were cultivating wheat, barley, and rice. They were also storing these for later use. Advances in farming led to the need for better tools. These are the tools that were used during the Neolithic age for farming, hunting, and cutting. By 12,000 BC, humans had domesticated the dog. Soon, they were domesticating other animals for food and skin. This included cattle, sheep, goats, and even pigs. In a couple of millennia, milk became a part of their regular diet. Of course, the larger animals were used for plowing and transporting grains. Cultivation and domestication were fulfilling the Neolithic humans' basic needs. They did not have to be nomadic anymore. Permanent settlement emerged. Grass huts, mud houses with thatched roofs, and pit houses came up. In Burzahom, in present-day Kashmir, Neolithic pit houses were dug into the ground with steps leading into them. Pit houses probably provided shelter in cold weather. In Mehergarh, near Quetta, in Baluchistan, square or rectangular houses were built. Each house had 4 or more rooms. Some of them were probably used for storage. As agriculture increased, the need to store food also grew. At home, changes in cooking resulted in the need for better utensils. Thus, crude pots were made. Then came an innovation, a boom for the potters, the potter's wheel. With the potter's wheel, they could make pots of various shapes and sizes with greater efficiency. Daljali Hedi on the hills near the Brahmaputra Valley is a Neolithic site. Stone tools, pots, mortars, pestles, and also fossil wood tools were used. Look at this mortar and pestle. Does it look any different from the ones we see in villages today? The Neolithic age saw the advent of cloth making. Animal skin and tree bark clothing were replaced with clothes made of woven fibers. Then came the bow drill, which allowed craftspeople to drill holes with greater precision. The bow drill benefited woodworking, dentistry, and bead making. Farming, rearing animals, fishing, construction, pottery, bead making. More and more specializations emerged. Soon, not everybody was producing the food they required. Those who were not producing food exchanged their produce for food. Thus, the barter system was born. The Neolithic human was no longer a mere hunter or gatherer. He was skilled and capable of even greater deeds.